Hi everyone, it's Donna from Little Spaceman Paper Crafts, and I am bringing you a upcycle tutorial today. I've seen a lot of these fairy jars floating around on YouTube and on different craft channels, excuse me, so I thought I would do my own take on it. Now, this is just a jar, I believe it was actually a beetroot jar, and I took all the labels off and obviously rinsed it out really well, made sure it was dry. And then what I did, now I'm not too sure if you're going to be able to see that because of the light, but for this jar I went online and I googled free fairy silhouettes, and I found one that I really liked and cut it out because I wanted to show you that you can do it without a die, although the one I'm going to be doing on camera is using a die. So what I did was I have two of these little battery sort of flickering lights, and I'm still not sure that's going to pick up very well. As you would have seen at the beginning of this video, I took a little video clip of this in a darker light, so you should be able to see it a bit better. Now, you've got two options for lighting that I found anyway. There are obviously more. You obviously can't use a flamed candle in these because the silhouette is actually paper or card, so yeah, so we don't want any accidents. So there's those lights you could use, or I've got these lights. Now I got these from, I believe I got them from IKEA. Yes, I did. And these were really quite inexpensive. I think they were maybe £1.50 or £2. And then what I do is push all the lights in, try and spread them out a little bit, and then depending on what you like, you can either have this out, or when I had this on, I left the battery pack in the bottom, so you can use those sorts of lights. So it's just two different lighting options there for you. So what you are going to need to make this is a jar. Now this is another jar that's exactly the same as this one that I've cleaned and took all the sticky off. And then the first step is tissue paper. Now you need a piece of tissue paper that will comfortably fit around your jar and be able to adhere a little bit to the bottom. Now what you need to really be careful of with this tissue paper is you'll be very, very lucky if you manage to do this without tearing it. So what you should do is have some scraps ready so you can just patch up any areas that need it. So what I'm going to use is just some Mod Podge and a foam brush, and I'm just going to start by painting it on the jar. Just do one section at a time really. Now you don't need this, you know, really thick. You could also use PVA glue, but you may need to water it down a little bit. So let's just pop that down. Now it's going to bubble, and you know, that's the whole point. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the little bubbles and different effects that we're going to get on it. So we'll carry on doing this. It is all buckling there. On this one, I think I made a mistake really, because I did 2 layers of tissue paper, and I think you would only really need one. But just be very, very careful how you attach it, because it is really, really thin, and we don't want it to tear too badly. Then we're going to let that dry for a bit, and then we're going to come back and do the next step. Okay everyone, it is partially dry, the sides are dry, the top and the bottom are still quite wet, but I'm going to move on to the next stage. Now what I've got here is I've got lots of these little mini bottles of iridescent little dots. Now I'm not sure if you can see on this one, I'll try and get the light to catch it, but they look really sweet just dotted around, and the light really picks them up well. So I'm going to use those ones. So what I'm going to do is just dab some Mod Podge on quite lightly, because again we don't want to tear. And then we're just going to just gently tap some of these sparkly mini dots onto where we've just glued. And then just work your way around. You don't need tons. Well, I suppose it's a matter of preference. If you want lots of sparkle, far be it from me to say no to sparkle. So you just sprinkle it on, and then you just rotate the jar. And this will be my last bit now, because I've done it in quite big sections. So wherever you want that sparkle, you could also use glitter, but you would probably, well, the super fine glitter would be really good, I think, and you could, you know, decorate it in, you could go a bit more mad with that and have like patches of it. So what I'm going to do now is, now that that's covered as much as I'd like it to be covered, I'm going to leave that to dry completely now, and then I will come back to you, and then we'll work on the final sections. Hi everyone, I'm back, and first I need to apologise because I just watched some of the footage back and I was off camera a lot, so I've just changed the tripod over so I'm not overhead anymore, I'm right in front, and this way you'll be able to see what I'm doing. So our jar is now, majority of it is dry. There's a few sort of bits up here which I'm not too worried about, that'll help when we come to stick down our tie our bow up there. So as you can see, a lot of the sparkly bits are coming off, and they will. You just have to rub slightly and you'll get the excess off that didn't stick. But once you've got all the excess off, it should be fine. Okay, so now we come to popping in our fairy. Now I've used a die on this, and I've used this die. This is from, where is it? Couture Creations, and this is just called an Intricates die, and it's a fairy, and it's 3, what's it say on there? 3 by 3.4 inches, 76 by 88 millimeters. So that is the size of the die cut that it produces. And to be quite honest with you, that's a pretty good size for our jar. Now what you need to do is decide which way you want your fairy facing. The last one I had the fairy facing to the right, so I'm going to have this one facing to the left. And bearing in mind your jar is round, so you may just need to help it along and just give it a little curve. What you're going to need to stick this inside your jar is a glue that's quite strong, so some form of super glue even, but I use this Collall wet glue adhesive. Excuse me, I think I've still got me cold. So I'm just going to dab some of the glue, make sure I'm in frame this time, because you don't want a huge amount when it decides to come out. There we go, so you just want to dab a few bits of the glue. You need to decide where you want your front to be, and then just drop that in and line it up and hold it down. And you are going to need to hold it for a minute until it sticks. And then what you can do is just maybe pop your bone folder in just to hold it down a bit. And there we go. There is our fairy stuck to the inside of our jar. Okay, so now we're going to need to work on the top, and on this one I just used some metal charms. Again, I got these from my friend Gareth at cheeseembellishmentemporium.com, and some paper roses that I had and some raffia. So I'm going to do something similar with this one, but I want to use, I've got some of this metal chain. I've also got some of these metal leaf embellishments, and I thought they'd be quite sweet hanging off. When you're putting your decoration on, you need to just have it slightly to the side of where the fairy is, because you don't want it to cover any part of your fairy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap the chain around first. I think I'll have it all on this side. Yeah, so let's wrap that around, and I'm just going to tie it. I will secure it with some hot glue in a minute. Yeah, I actually quite like that. So let's see if my hot glue gun's ready. It is, so I'm just going to secure that with some hot glue. You're not going to see this because the flowers are going to cover all this up. And I just like that little dangly bit there. Then I'm going to use this raffia. Now I'm going to wrap it around a few times, I think. Something like that, and then I'll just trim it, because what I want to do is attach those metal leaves. If I pull that quite tight, that'll also stick to the hot glue there. So let's see if we can get these through. I don't know if I want 2 or 3. I have 2 on that one. I think I'll put 1 on this one then. There's no limit to really how you could decorate these. I mean, these are great for somebody like me who collects fairies, or a little girl's room. That'd be really sweet. And you could use pink glitter maybe, or a pink fairy. There's just so much you can do. I'm just going to tie this actually in a knot. And then just cut that off. I want these to be a little bit more separated, so I think I'm going to hot glue just this section here to the jar. Just hold that for a minute, and then I think I might do something similar here. But again, I just want it near the top so I can cover it with flowers, because you don't want to be seeing tons of hot glue everywhere. Okay, that's better. Now I've got these paper roses that I am just going to randomly stick around just to cover the area that we've glued. I'm just trying to get the paper and the metal elements both together. That's why I use the chain and the raffia. And since we've got 3 leaves, we should have 3 flowers really. And I'll just pop that one up there, and then pop our little candles in. Take that this one. I just wish it was darker so you could see. I think that looks so pretty. I love that. Then what I might do, I may add some charms off the end there, I'm not too sure yet. But I just really like how this turned out. So what I'll do is I'll go and pop these in a darker area of my house and take some more video, and I'll pop that on at the end of this one. So thank you so much guys for joining me on this upcycle tutorial, and take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye!